Hello, everyone. Welcome to you. This is the news on NTA International. I am Charles Alpha. Our language interpreter is Taiwo Uzoma. First, let's take a look at some of our top stories. First Lady flags off empowerment grant to petty traders nationwide. The federal government incorporates insurance into its national agricultural policy and programs. And Ariawala bows out of Supreme Court's bench. The WHO launches emergency response as Mpox cases increase across multiple regions. The First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has flagged off Renewed Hope Initiative Economic Empowerment Scheme with the disbursement of 50,000 Naira business recapitalization grant to 37,000 petty traders each nationwide. At a ceremony in Asaba, Delta State, where she handed over the grant to 1,000 petty traders, the First Lady says, apart from helping the beneficiaries to overcome some of their business challenges and create more jobs, the grant is also expected to expand the contributions of the informal sector to the national economy.
We are all aware of the challenges faced by small and medium enterprises, especially the petty traders, who form the backbone of our local economies. These challenges, however, have not deterred the strength of our women. I salute you all and celebrate your courage and resilience that keep you going to put food on the table for your families.
Applauding the intervention of the First Lady, Delta State Governor Sheriff Obroweri announced the donation of a similar grant by his administration to further empower the beneficiaries. The dividends of Renewed Hope Initiative of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has reached out to 1,000 women petty traders in Jigawa State. The recapitalization grant under the care of the Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has been disbursed by the wife of the Jigawa State Governor, Hadiza Umar Namadi, who is the state coordinator of the initiative in the state. Mohammed Musa Askira brings us the details.
The 50,000 Naira grant to each of these beneficiaries has come at the right time when their small businesses need reimbursement to stay afloat and reinvigorate the local economy. For 59-year Fatima Muhammad, a mother of 10, who has been in the business of tailoring for years, the grant is a godsend. The choice for women beneficiaries for the grant, the wife of the Jigawa Governor, Hadiza Umar Namadi, says, was born out of the fact that women constitute the larger percentage of voters and bear the brunt of the hardship triggered by the fuel subsidy removal in the country.
The grant provided today is to assist our women petty traders in overcoming some of their business challenges, expand their businesses, create more jobs, and contribute more robustly to our economy.
In a goodwill message at the event, Commissioner for Women Affairs Hadiza Abdul Wahab, who stood in for Governor Umar Namadi, notes that the Renewed Hope Initiative, chaired by the Nigeria's First Lady Senator Oluremi Tinubu, being coordinated by the wife of the Jigawa State Governor Hadiza Umar Namadi, will continue to support Jigawa women for their loyalty and prayers for the present administration in the country.
The government of Jigawa State has various interventions, achievements that will be mentioned here that affects the life of the vulnerable women in the society.
The beneficiaries were selected at least 3 from each of the 287 political wards across the 27 local government areas of Jigawa State. In Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
Nigeria is expected to submit its climate action plan, which is the first biennial transparency report, BTR, to the United Nations framework on climate change by December this year. In order to beat the deadline, the National Council on Climate Change is engaging relevant actors from across the states tasked with the responsibility of producing a document that is accurate and transparent. One of Nigeria's commitment to the Paris Agreement is the reduction of greenhouse gases, which is responsible for global warming. The submission of the first and second biennial transparency report, as well as the fourth national communication to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC, will prove to the United Nations and the world Nigeria's efforts in this regard. What this workshop, sponsored by the United Nations Development Programme UNDP, is all about is to engage key players with the National Council on Climate Change Secretariat on how to acquire accurate and transparent data for the report, develop a framework for Nigeria's nationally determined contributions, NDCs, its carbon market and carbon credits. The good news is that Nigeria is making progress.
We're very much on course with regards to our BTR submission. Again, you can never overemphasize the need for credible, quality data, and that's what we're asking for stakeholders.
If everything goes well, by God's sort of benediction, if we can say that, we can get Nigeria to submit its first report in December.
Part of this administration's drive has been to really show our commitment in driving climate change and climate action. It's important for us to be able to show that to the international community that we are certainly taking this seriously.
The Director General, National Council on Climate Change, Nkiruka Mabekwe, assured participants at the 3-day event that data generated will be deployed for the BTR report. The sterling leadership qualities of an eminent jurist who is the immediate past Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Tajuddin Ariwola, resonate at the valedictory court session in honor of the retired head of the country's judiciary. The ceremony hall of the Supreme Court attracted who is who in the Temple of Justice who came to honor a jurist whose tenure was full of imprint in the judiciary. Delatunbiofa Judiciary Desk reports.
It must be realized that a Chief Justice is not the boss or the employer of his brother justices. Not at all. He is not. He is only the first among equals. A Chief Justice must therefore not see himself as the emperor of the Supreme Court. The occupier must work with his colleagues with mutual respect in order to have a successful administration.
Justice Olukayode Tajuddin Ariwola, foremost Nigerian jurist and the immediate past Chief Justice of Nigeria, was born on 22nd August 1954 in Iseyin, the headquarters of Iseyin local government area of Oyo State, southwest Nigeria. Justice Ariwola was called to the largest bar on the continent of Africa in 1981 after his university education at the then University of Ife, now Obafemi Awolowo University. After 11 years of private practice as a legal practitioner, Justice Ariwola was appointed as a judicial officer in the Oyo State Judiciary in 1992. Justice Ariwola was appointed to the Supreme Court bench on 22nd November 2011. After 11 years in the Apex Court, on June 27, 2022, Justice Ariwola was appointed the Chief Justice of Nigeria in acting capacity following the resignation of the then Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Tanko Muhammad, and was formally confirmed as the substantive Chief Justice of Nigeria by the Nigerian Senate on the 21st September 2022. Justice Olukayode Ariwola was sworn in as substantive Chief Justice of Nigeria on Wednesday, 11th October 2022.
Indeed, His Lordship came, saw, and conquered. He has made his mark and left indelible imprints in the annals of the Nigerian judiciary and the legal profession in general.
That even though you are retiring from the bench, you are not yet retired. We still need you so much. And I want to thank your wife, Ms. Ariwola, for looking after you for so much, for about 45 years now. as a legal practitioner and as a jurist.
My Lord, Justice Ariwola's tenure as the Chief Justice of Nigeria, although short, was quite eventful and very impactful. In these 2 years, we saw a number of appointments into all levels of superior courts of record.
His tenure witnessed the breaking of the jinx, with the Apex Court having its full complement of justices of 21 as enshrined in the Constitution. The salary of judicial officers, which was last reviewed 2007, was increased by 300% by President Bola Tinubu under the leadership of Justice Ariwola. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has congratulated Justice Olukayode Ariwola as he retires as Chief Justice of Nigeria after a successful public service career. Justice Ariwola served as Justice of the Courts of Appeal in Kaduna, Enugu and Lagos divisions before his elevation to the Supreme Court in 2011. He was sworn in as a Chief Justice of Nigeria in 2022 and has also served the nation in diverse capacities as a judicial officer. President Tinubu commends the eminent jurist for his services to the nation, noting his impactful leadership of the judiciary and his efforts in enriching Nigerian jurisprudence, as well as in strengthening the fiber of the law. The President thanks Justice Ariwola and wishes him the very best for the future. A statement by the Presidential Advisor on Media and Publicity, Hajiri Ngalale, indicates that President Tinubu will swear in Justice Ariwola's successor at the State House Council Chambers tomorrow, Friday, August 23, 2024. Now to health matters. The resurgence of the Mpox virus is now a concern for many countries, with several cases reported across multiple regions. The Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, has been the epicenter of this new resurgence. Amid the ongoing insurgency in the DRC, the World Health Organization is working to ensure a proper response to curb the spread of the virus. The incident manager for Mpox at the WHO Regional Office for Africa, Dr. Samuel Boland, said they are adapting new strategies to reach even the conflict-hit regions in the DRC as part of their response to the resurgence.
Able to access people that would maybe otherwise be hard to reach by people on foot. But we have already begun the process of activating a huge cadre of people already in place across the Democratic Republic of the Congo and also in some other Mpox affected areas who are already there on the ground in a position to respond and to support the Mpox response, even in these very difficult and hard to reach areas.
Congolese Health Minister says the DRC hopes to receive vaccine doses to address its Mpox outbreaks by next week. At least 18,000 cases have been reported in the DRC, with at least 500 deaths attributed to the virus. Over 70% of the cases have been reported among children. A truck carrying vital food supplies this Thursday crossed the border between Chad and Sudan for the first time since February. Justin Bermunyi reports that the truck loaded with sorghum, oil and rice, according to the UN, is for over 12,000 people who are at risk of famine in the Keretnik area of West Darfur.
The delivery comes as war-torn Sudan grapples with heavy rains. The World Food Programme WFP says the corridor is the easiest and fastest for the humanitarian aid to reach populations in critical need in Darfur.
These trucks are the first in month to cross from Chad into Sudan at the Adre border post. And this is a very good news because this corridor is the easiest and the fastest for humanitarian aid to reach populations in critical need in Darfur.
The UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs said on Monday that 131 trucks carrying food and non-food relief supplies were cleared to go through the border. The border was closed earlier this year for security reasons. The Sudanese armed forces cited concerns that it was being used to supply weapons to the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, RSF. War erupted in April 2023 between the Sudanese army under the country's de facto ruler Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces led by his former deputy Mohamed Hamdan Daglo. The conflict has unleashed one of the world's worst humanitarian crises, with more than 25 million people, more than half its population, facing acute hunger. The United Nations World Food Programme welcomed the reopening of the Adre crossing and said it was in a race against time to save lives, with famine declared in a Darfur displacement camp. Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
This is the news on NTA International. We will take a break now. Please stay with us. Disaster officials said Thursday that disaster is adding to new government challenges after weeks of political turmoil. Justin Bemunyi reports that at least 5 people have died and hundreds of thousands are stranded in the floods, at least 8 districts in southern and eastern areas.
Reports from the country's Ministry of Disaster Management and Relief indicate that around 2.9 million people have been affected and more than 70,000 people have been taken to shelters. Longtime Premier Sheikh Hasina quit as Prime Minister this month and fled to India after weeks of deadly student-led protests ending her 15-year autocratic rule. The South Asian nation of 170 million people, crisscrossed by hundreds of rivers, has seen frequent floods in recent decades. It is among countries most vulnerable to disasters and climate change, according to the Global Climate Risk Index. 3 of those who died drowned in floodwaters in the southeastern region of Cox's Bazar. Chief Administrative Officer of Ramu District, Rasedul Islam, said, "The annual monsoon rains cause widespread destruction every year, but climate change is shifting weather patterns and increasing the number of extreme weather events. The Army and the Navy have been deployed with speedboats and helicopters rescuing those stranded by the swollen rivers." Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
The federal government has incorporated insurance into its national agricultural policy and programs. And Musa Babali brings us details of that report.
Outbreaks of diseases and pests and other environmental challenges such as flood have been a bottleneck to the growth of agriculture in Nigeria. For instance, in 2023, pests ravaged tomato and ginger plantations in the country, resulting in huge economic losses. Additionally, this year, more than 16,000 hectares of farmland have been damaged by floods in 27 states. To address these challenges, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security is introducing insurance with the aim of supporting smallholder farmers.
Our responsibility is to continue to engage the Nigerian public, to continue to give them information that will help them to make informed decisions. And as we begin this process of bringing insurance into the mainstream of our investment, I think farmers will begin to get sensitized and, informed or educated.
The Nigeria Agricultural Insurance Corporation and key players are to develop a roadmap that will enable beneficiaries of the federal government agricultural growth scheme to have their farms insured.
Insurance is a very critical input that has been neglected over the years. And for agricultural projects, production through the value chain to be sustained, it should be a critical factor that we must not neglect. Insurance is very important. It takes care of all the what-ifs, flood, droughts, and all the rest of the pests and diseases.
The issue of animal encroachment, actually before now, it was part of an insurance. It is a peril that was covered by insurance. But Because when the animal encroachment now become the act of terrorism and no longer accidental, so insurance will not by default cover terrorism acts. Okay, so that is the issue. And because before now we've been collecting data around animal encroachment, but we have now seen that it's no longer an accidental occurrence, but now an intentional occurrence, by some people. So, and that is why it is now being labeled as exclusion in every agricultural insurance scheme.
The African Development Bank is also supporting the government initiative under its $10 billion agricultural insurance window. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu has approved a grant of 10 billion naira to the National Broadcasting Commission in order to accelerate the digital switch over project. The Director General of NBC, Charles Ibubu, at a press briefing in Abuja assured a nationwide satellite coverage. Asaliu Gwanara reports.
Digital switchover, so dear to Nigerians, is an essential project inherited by the current administration, with 10 billion naira grant for the commission from the sales of spectrum. The Director General of NBC, Charles Ibubu, assures a steady move to digitize Nigeria's broadcast ecosystem in line with global standard through a renewed approach.
The funds allotted to this project will be meticulously expanded to ensure that each component of the DSO ecosystem contributes significantly to the realization of impactful digital dividends to the country. The key areas for the utilization of this grant include TV channels, which includes managing and developing channels that cater to diverse interests, educational programs, and all of that. There's also satellite capacity, which entails leasing of transponders and establishing a robust satellite backbone to ensure 100% coverage of the nation. There's also audience measurement, which would basically address implementing audience measurement tools to provide broadcasters and the industry with detailed insights into viewership patterns, preferences, and demographics.
Creating content and developing an application for free digital switchover channels, the DG highlighted, will be among the areas of priority while intensifying collaboration with relevant stakeholders like the Nigerian Television Authority and the Nigerian Communication Commission. In Abuja, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
A convergence of applied information management professionals is underway in Abuja to brainstorm on the quest for economic recovery and managing information towards national development and leadership. Justin Bermunyi reports that this is the 4th national conference in series on applied information management technology to be held in the country.
This conference is a major platform of the Association of Applied Information Management Professionals, where leaders and professionals come together to highlight and proffer solutions to critical information technology concerns. They have come together to deepen knowledge on diverse strategies of information management that would boost national growth despite the current level of the economy.
As a legislator, one thing I want to contribute to this association is to see how this association can become a think tank to shaping the legislative interventions and legislative laws that will be put by our government to regulate the information management space.
And over the years, we have discovered there's a gap between having information and managing information. The crux of our problem today is lack of the effective management of information. There is nothing we need to make the country prosperous that is not within.
There's no way you can talk about socio-economic development without effective national security management, and likewise vice versa.
Well, the truth about it is that we have embraced technology. We want to thank the government for the current initiatives. There's about 90,000 kilometers now of optic fiber cabling that's been put in place. So we want to encourage government to continue to invest in technology and to encourage Nigerians to embrace technology, which will make our lives easier.
Today, whatever skill you have can be replaced. Therefore, it means you must be conscious of what technology can do. It's disruptive these days. Nothing remains permanent. And therefore, you won't want to say, because I have this skill today, it's going to remain like forever.
The Association of Applied Information Management Professionals was established in 2015. It is the primary organization responsible for ensuring professionalism and pioneering advancements in the practice of applied information in all sectors of the economy. Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
And before we go, we bring you a quick report on our weather. That's how it's been on the news tonight on NTA International. I am Charles Alpha. Taiwo Zoma has been our sign language interpreter. Thanks for watching.